She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies
Give me every little detail.
of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Good morning, good life. Welcome back to Detail Therapy. In this episode, we're getting into the details about what to do when you're having a down day, an off day, or much less than extraordinary day. I'm going to give you a few tips for what you can start doing differently so that you can get yourself out of your funk. And I'm also going to share what you should avoid doing at all possibility. If you're new to the show, hello, my name is Amy Landino, and I will be your host. I'm a success coach and founder of Gatlu House, a resource dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. You can see all of our work, including the show notes for this podcast, by visiting detailtherapy.online. Well, you probably may have guessed it, but this is a well-timed podcast for me because I'm feeling a little bit down. You probably can't tell because I have my radio announcer voice on. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that are on the same wavelength as me. It's cold outside for many of us. It's winter, it's drab. I know in Ohio, like January, February are so gray. I'm not the type of person that desperately needs sun, but what I do need is to feel good. And it is kind of hard to feel that way when the sky is gray. So that's kind of affecting me. Not to mention, this situation with the pandemic is still pretty dire, people. So we're staying home, we're staying safe, and trying not to go insane. Let's just be honest. But even if you're listening to this in the far distant future where some of these constraints are not our current status quo, maybe it's summer. Ooh, that sounds good. I hope it's summer for you. Or everyone's healthy. Very good news. It doesn't mean you can't have a down day or a bad day. And it doesn't mean that you should automatically assume that you should be fine, because we do go through mindset ebbs and flows. And so I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I do. Lately, I've been doing because I'm trying to get out of a funk, because every day I have to keep doing the things, right? And that funk is really annoying if I have stuff to do. So, lots to unpack. Obviously, there could be any reason in a million different places that you're affected right now. No matter what it is, let's talk about how to deal with it. The first thing we need to address is what not to do, what to avoid. This is probably not going to come as a total shock, because let's just be honest. I get the YouTube comments all the time. Amy, you say the same things all the time. Well, let me tell you why. Because I'm a freaking expert, and what I'm saying is truth. And you know, if you were actually doing it, that it is, if you tried it for once. So for those of you who are about to say, Amy, you say this all the time, get some new advice. I can't do that. Because if you're still doing these things, then we got some things to talk about, man. Let's get back to basics. Just do the basics, because it's amazing how much it will give you clarity. So on that note, avoid the social media scroll, people, okay? I have to remind you, I opened Instagram today and I felt good. Because first of all, it was at the time I wanted to open it. I was ready. I had already gotten my mind together on what I was thinking and feeling. And I was quickly reminded when I saw this cute little screenshot post of a friend of mine who published a book, and she's doing good and it's getting a lot of reviews, and it was at the top of my feed because so many people are cheering her on. That is awesome. That is so awesome. And that is exactly what we use Instagram for. We go there to be like, ain't my life so dope? Like, that's what we do. So we cannot allow ourselves to get to a space of jealousy, to get to a space of less than, to get to a space of scarcity because people are doing what we do on the Instagram, okay? So if it's not a moment where you are able to say, you know what, I can be happy for people right now, then maybe, just maybe, we should avoid the scroll. Not to mention, so that's like all the yummy good news in the world, right? If you ask me. I guess it depends on who you're following on Instagram. Like maybe there's like an ecosystem of Instagram that's not like fabulous, but that's fine. It's good news for me. Then you go to like Twitter and it's just like real-time news no matter what it is. And that can be a lot to deal with too. So if we're having a bad day, if we are trying to feel the feels and identify them and not try to push them down, but do something productive with them, what we do not need to do is bombard those thoughts with lots of outside sources, such as social media and even the news. Maybe the news is a bad idea if you watch the news. The next thing I was going to say kind of goes in the same conversation of what to avoid. Maybe avoid that typical binge fest. Have you ever noticed that even though you sit down to watch your favorite show that you watch every single night because that's our life right now, and you're like, well, I'm watching this show, and so I have to watch the next episode because it's what I'm doing right now. I am a finisher. I'm going to finish this series, whether it kills me or not. And you just watch it, but there's no actual real excitement for the content. You're just watching it because it's where the things in your life are right now. I catch myself doing that. And I realize that when I'm having a down day, the worst thing I can do is yet another thing that is my current status quo that I could either here nor there about and isn't going to do anything to advance my cause. I'm just going to put it on blast. Listen, Game of Thrones, I'm giving you a chance. I'm watching you with my husband. My husband loves this show. But because I cannot stand blood and murder and other terrible things that happen to people, I have my eyes shut for most of the show, okay? So this is a great example of, listen, honey, I can't watch the show tonight. I just can't do it because I'm not having a good day. And what I know for sure is that a show that I'm just getting through so that you and I can bond over it is not going to be enough for me right now. Like, I'm just going to have to be honest. But if it's like there's this really cool thing going on, maybe it's the series opener or the season opener of something that you absolutely love, maybe that's a different vibe. But I say avoid that typical binge fest that's just the status quo. Because to me, I think it's the exact same thing as the social media scroll. You're doing both of them simultaneously. They are keeping you in your rut. They are giving you no new ideas. And you are spending your life moments on this. Yeah, if you're having a bad day, this is not the option. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, we're not going to do that. If you're having a bad day right now, if you're having a bad day tomorrow, if you're having a bad day in a week, if today's good, keep this in your arsenal, bookmark this stuff, come back to it later, because here's what you're going to do instead. We're going to skip the scroll, maybe even delete the apps for a day, whatever. We're going to not plan to watch that show that we typically watch every night on Netflix. Okay, we're just going to give Game of Thrones a little breather. Okay, it's not that urgent. It'll be there when I am having a better day. And instead, we're going to do some of these other things. The first suggestion I have is to take a walk. Now, I even say this hesitating because today I was like, no, Vin, I don't want to go for a walk, even though I'm having a bad day. But here's the thing. Changes the game when it's so cold outside, it hits you in the face and you're just like thinking all kinds of different things. Not to mention the fresh air right now is so vitally important. If you can't bring yourself to exercise, if this is the minimum thing you do for your movement, it's so good for you. And so it's honestly, it's so bad that I have, it's so underrated, the walk, because it can completely change everything. Now, if you go on your walk and you scroll your phone the whole time, no guarantees, okay? Again, we kicked that to the curb. We can't do that. Take a walk, get out of the house, get out of your environment, go get cold, come back, be really appreciative and have gratitude for the heat in your home, even though you feel like you're a little trapped sometimes, and just enjoy it. Allow it to make you feel something else. The second thing is I want you to watch something hilarious. So this is why I'm saying that TV is not completely off the table. Maybe even YouTube isn't off the table. It's really going to depend on your individual situation. But I want you to watch something hilarious. When you're not having a good day, straight up, the best thing you can do is laugh. The best thing you can do is laugh. And we've got to find those resources that help us laugh. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes TikTok makes me laugh, but that's also a black hole that I don't want to end up down if I'm not in a good headspace. So I'm much more likely to go to like either Netflix or HBO or one of these other ones and pull one of my favorite comedians up and watch one of their stand-up shows. Just have it on in the background. Just let me hear those jokes. Fun fact, if you did not catch 12 Dates of Christmas on HBO Max, I highly suggest, no matter what time of year, that you watch it. Because, and I don't even mean watch it, just have it on in the background. I will just have it on in the background because I realized that what was missing from my life in the fact that I don't really care for dating shows that much is that the announcers are not funny. And now the announcer on this show is hilarious and really pokes fun at the people who are online dating. Well, not online dating, reality show dating. And I think that really completed it for me. And it makes me laugh every time. Pull those resources that can change your attitude. Your attitude is your choice. If you need something to help you change your attitude, that is something you can do and still keep this within the realm of your choice. Another option, if it's not something hilarious, maybe it's something motivational. Maybe this podcast is helping you if you're having a bad day, or maybe you want to watch a TED Talk on YouTube. I love going to a motivational speaker. I listen to a lot of Tony Robbins. I'll just throw a YouTube video up and let him talk. I love pretending like I'm at his event, Unleash the Power Within. I think he does amazing work with just leveling with you and telling you what's up. And maybe you have your person, or maybe you haven't found that person yet, or maybe that person is me and you like my YouTube channel for that. Go and turn on something motivational so that you can hear what you need to hear right now, because nobody around you is saying what you need to hear to get you out of your funk. Do something about it. No social media scrolling, intentional listening and hearing and watching. I meant to say watching when I said hearing. Listening and hearing. Okay. My next tip for you to do is to exercise. Clearly, this was going to be on the list, people. Sad times. Let me tell you something for those of us who don't love to exercise. This morning, I was straight up pissed off. And I don't like to say bad words on this show, but I was upset. I was quite upset. I'm in a funk. I'm in a big funk right now, and I'm affected. And what I knew was that the basic boy, Cody, my Peloton spin instructor, will change my mind. 2 reasons. First of all, he's hilarious. Second of all, I moved my body, got on that bike, and I did a spin. Not just because I needed to work out. Oh, don't forget to work out today, Amy. It's in your calendar block. But I knew I needed it today. I knew that if I did not get on that bike, that I could not do this podcast. There's just no way I would have been able to sit here and be as motivated to talk to you about how to get out of a funk, because that was something I had to change my state. And that's another thing Tony Robbins says. Change your state, increase your heart rate, burn some calories, eat some avocado toast, and then move on to the next thing. Okay? Exercise. Next, meditate or do breathing exercises. I have been, not to give him 8 million shout outs in this podcast, but I do, lately I've been doing the Tony Robbins priming technique every single morning, and it is just setting me on the right trajectory. I've just been feeling like Morning Pages hasn't totally been doing it for me lately, so I'm changing some things up. Got to throw a curveball in my morning routine every once in a while, so it's not just a repeating thing that doesn't actually get me started on my right terms, which is totally within the realm of possibility. You don't have to do the same thing forever. You have to do what is right for you. So that's been working for me. Meditation, if I feel like my brain is going bonkers and I need to just remind my mind how to zero back in on the nothing if it's at all possible. So meditation is a great option as well if that's more up your alley. But if you want to search for the priming technique, it's a great breathing and visualization exercise by Tony Robbins. And so you can just do a search on YouTube. It's very easy to find. Next, read an inspirational book. I personally feel that I'm doing real good on my books so far in 2021. Just a news flash. If you didn't catch episode 99, where I said how to read more books, and I told you, I did okay last year. I almost hit my goal of 50 books. And in order to make sure I hit my goal this year, I gave myself the impossible goal of 100 books this year. So doing pretty good on that front. I'm already up to like 10 books in January, which is amazing. But the key thing there being, I'm so motivated to read because they're taking me into an experience that I need to be in to keep my head right, especially if it's helping me with reaching my goals or motivating me to be a better version of myself every day. Reading an inspirational book just helps me so much. I'm a nonfiction nerd. I definitely have liked some fiction reads in the last year, and I do need to expand on those, I think, a bit more. I would love your recommendations. But for getting out of a funk, I need somebody to tell me what's up. I'm going to be looking for that everywhere. I need my priming. I need my motivational speech. I need a little bit of laughter. I definitely need an inspirational book. So whether it's an audiobook, so it kind of feels like you're getting the whole effect in your ears, that's totally fine. I've got audiobooks going. I've got regular books, Kindle. I've got paperback. I got so many books going at one time. It's crazy. So I just have words of the wise coming at me all the time to get me out of my funk. Next, write it all down. I told you morning pages hasn't been the thing for me lately, but I do find that it is helpful in general to sit down, and if something's driving you crazy or making you upset, or you need to vent, you feel like you have no one to talk to, you're trying to problem solve something, you're stressed out, sit down and write it all down. It may not work out that you have a solution at the end, but at least you can take the jibber jabber that is happening in your mind and give it a venue. Give it the notebook, give it the, the page on your documents on your computer if you'd rather type it. Give it a place to go so that you can allow it to work through its own sort of life cycle of where it's at in your mind. Because I find that usually the issues that are driving me the craziest are the ones that just can't get out of my head. They don't have anywhere to be given. They're not a task. They're not a Trello update. They're not a thing for my team to do. They're not even something that has anything to do with my husband. It's just something that needs to get out into the ether and not even necessarily be something I have to do, but something I have to deal with. You have to give it a place in my experience. And that is what I like morning pages for, or just a notebook, just journaling something. Just sit down and get it all out the moment it's driving you the most crazy, so that you can at least say, okay, I think I got a handle on why I'm going so crazy right now, and I put it down. So now I'm moving on. I've always felt that once you give those thoughts a place to go, that you can then go to another place after. So write it all down. Next, spend time with people you love. It may seem like we're so busy and we're so, oh no, if I just waste more time with people who aren't going to help me do the thing that I'm stressed out about, right? Well, that's, first of all, not why we're going after the life we want. We're going after the life we want so we can spend time with the people that we love. So make a point that you will put yourself first by putting that first. And step away from what is happening. Step away from what is happening and surround yourself with people who, first of all, will ground you. And second of all, don't care about your stupid stuff. They've got their own stupid stuff that they think is big, and you've got your stupid stuff that you think is big, and everybody thinks that their problems are crazy. But when you're surrounded by the people that you love, you can focus on that one thing and say, listen, I'm going through a lot, but I am going to be here now with you, and that's it. And you also don't have to say those words out loud. If you must tell the person that you love, listen, I'm using you right now to get away from my problems, however you want to work it out. It's mostly about the fact that when you walk away from your problems and you say, listen, those problems are worth me figuring out. This is worth going through. so that I can continue to be here with these people of who I love so much. And to prove it, I'm going to spend time with them to show myself that it is worth all figuring out and letting everything happen as it needs to happen. So spend time with people who make you feel good about the fact that whatever you're worried about or whatever you're focused on or whatever's got you down, there will be another side of it. This is a fun one. I am very excited to be doing this more often. I've only done it a couple of times and I wasn't 100% sure if it was something that was actually benefiting me, but I have recently seen great effects from it. It's flotation therapy. So you may or may not have a place locally to you that will serve this opportunity. You obviously need to go somewhere, a place that is highly sanitized and managed properly to do a little floating action, but flotation therapy. So essentially it's just about doing nothing and just loving doing nothing. You go to a float spa. The place here in Columbus is called Ebb and Float, and it's a chance to get off the grid. You go into a tank for an hour floating effortlessly in heated water with a high concentration of salt, which is just science because the salt keeps you from sinking to the bottom. So you're ultimately just like really easily floating on top of this water. So you lay on your back, obviously, and it just feels like gravity is not there, and you can relax your mind and just kind of let your arms float around and your legs float around, and they have this neck pillow thing so that if you have a little bit of neck tension and that's helpful for you. There's a lot of benefits to this. It can manage pain, accelerate recovery from any injuries. It relieves muscle tension, reduces stress, depression, and anxiety. It balances sleep patterns, stimulates creativity and cognitive performance, alleviates pregnancy discomfort. So even people who are with child can go and participate in this, which is really cool. And just really a complete mental and physical relaxation. I really love it. I think the first time I did it, I wasn't ready. And so I was in this very dark tank counting down the minutes until it was over. But the last time I did it, I think I was so ready to just escape. The time flew by. And I recently heard Tim Ferriss talking about flotation therapy in a book. I believe it was in Tools of Titans, which is what I'm reading right now. And he basically said that this is the most comfortable, legal, ideal option for somebody who's not ready to do like psychedelic therapy. And I don't know about you, but I'm super not interested in doing like psychedelic therapy. So I was like, I would much rather float in a tank. So that's something that I've been trying. They also have different options at the place that I go to where you can get, massage chair action. They have an infrared sauna. There's a lot of stuff going on, but maybe just having the opportunity to say, listen, I need to meditate, but I feel like I really need to get completely out of my element in order to get the full benefit of it. That's something that forces me to do it. This is a great option. You are forced really in this tank. You can come out anytime you want, I guess, but for the whole hour, you're really just being catered to spending that time with yourself in a very comfortable and warm and magical environment. So I just thought I'd give that one a shout out in case that's an option for you. And it is for me, and I've really been enjoying it. And finally, my suggestion is to do something totally different from your norm. Just be completely spontaneous. It's something we talk about a lot, taking unnecessary decisions out of your day to day so you can be more productive. But sometimes if it feels like you've just been doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, that can have the reverse effect of being productive and creative. If you feel like that's happening with you and you feel like you're on this train to nowhere, and recently I just, described it as Groundhog Day. Does it feel like Groundhog Day to you? Because we're quarantining, we're staying safe, we're doing all this stuff. I totally get it. If that's the case, do something completely spontaneous. Do something safe, but do something different. Even if it's just like, you typically go on a certain walk and you're going to take a different walk this time and you're going to pay attention to different things. Just do something different, because I can completely respect the fact that for some people, when you feel like you're having a down day, it's just because you don't have anything to look forward to. That's my advice for you. So if you're having a down day, try one of these things. First of all, avoid your social media scroll and avoid your typical binge fest. Let's change it up, okay? Take a walk, watch something hilarious, attend a motivational speech, exercise, meditate or do some breathing exercises, read an inspirational book, write all the stress you've got down, give it a place. Spend time with the people that you love. Go for a float or just do something completely different from your norm. I have got some other ideas to get you a little bit more re-energized and motivated. I posted a video on Amy TV recently called How to Get Motivated. So we will link to that in the show notes so you can check it out and hopefully help you continue to move in the right direction. Maybe that's your motivational speech that you need to hear. And thank you to everyone who has left a 5-star review of this podcast. It truly supports our work. It helps us grow every single day. Today's shout out goes to Simone Hope 92. Simone, thank you and congratulations. You just won yourself a Good Morning, Good Life planner. Hit us up, hello@detailspodcast.com, so we can help you get that. If you would like to potentially win a planner, win a shout out, win something super cool and spontaneous that I'll have ready for you in the future, I think we're going to change it up a little bit. Definitely make sure you head over to iTunes and leave your 5-star review or your true and honest review. If you don't want to give me 5 stars, I accept. I'm going to have some questions, but I accept. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. I'll see you back here next time. Cheers.